सर्वधर्मान् परित्यज्य मामेकं शरणं व्रज.
The miseries of material existence and the most hopeless conditions of life is the best possible opportunity to turn to God.
You're listening to Bare Knuckle Bhakti Shorties on the Bhakti Recovery Podcast with Jiva G, coming at you every Monday with a little spiritual something. Haribo, my friends, I have missed this in an incredible amount of missingness. It is the first Bare Knuckle Bhakti Shorty that I've done in 3 months. Been in India, I'm back in Grey Berlin, and still adjusting. And wanted to deliver my shorties. I'm sorry I was absent so long, and I think we all have a very full life. My life of service is super full. But I am on my japa walk and thought to myself, Jiva, while you're on your japa walk, just do a shorty. So I wanted to let everyone know I'm doing some interviews again with members of the BRG. Really excited. I've done my first one yesterday, and today I've got the next one. So we got some change up in flavors going on now, so we don't have to just always listen to me. And get some other opinions about not only experiences, not opinions, but other experiences. And that's what we're all about, experience, strength, and hope. And we share that. We share that with our community. This has been an amazing transformational. Well, the transformation is optional after the transition, is it not? The transition happens. There are those things in life that transitions, they just happen. And then the transformation, that's where we have to be in action, right? And that's something that I'm getting out of my lazy chair. The thing is, the transition that's going on, I think everybody has felt it, right? Lately, the last few months has been, and the planets have aligned as such. And I am not an astrologer, so I can't go into that as an expert. But experientially, everyone feels it. It's a heavy vibe. And so much stuff is happening in the world, societally, personally, emotionally, physically, whatever it is. I would say that if you don't feel it, you're a very blessed person. Anyway, with me, I can share my experience, strength, and hope. While I was in India, I held a lot of space for a long time, and it was wonderful. I love holding space. It's what I'm meant to do. And having space being held for me is so important, which I realized. For me to be able to be just one part of, sit in the back row, sit down, shut up, listen, and have the opportunity to really be led by bona fide, trustworthy people. Realize how important that is. And it's so important that I'm going to make space for myself as much as I possibly can. I hope it's not so windy that you don't hear me. I'm going to hide behind this tree now because the wind is blowing really hard. That space is so vital for my spiritual growth. And I'm realizing that on such a deep level. I went on a retreat in Mayapur Dham, in Navadvip, and went on a pilgrimage as well. And we studied and learned about Bhaktivinoda Thakur's teachings, about him, his bhajans, his mood. If anyone here doesn't know who Bhaktivinoda Thakur is, he is one of our founding acharyas. And you should find out. Go and find out for yourself. A surrendered soul to Krishna, somebody who not only deeply felt, he acted. He's not only a deep, deep thinker and feeler and connector of Krishna, his life was dedicated to service to Krishna and the devotees. And this retreat actually touched me on such a deep, deep, deep level. I don't even know. And I knew how important this retreat was for me. I did everything. I canceled so many things just to be at this retreat because I just had a feeling. And there was no special reason. There was nobody there who I really knew, and no charismatic leader or something like that. It was a calling that I answered and showed up for. And it changed me. And it gets me thinking about what I put into my eyes, what I put into my ears. What kind of association do I have? What kind of fellowship do I do? What kind of thoughts do I want in my head? And as much as I'd love to think that everything I do doesn't have an effect on me, as far as, a little bit of this and that, it's all fine, it does have an effect on me. And in reality, people, I'm holding on for dear life. In reality, if we really look at our true position here on earth at this time, if we really look at that, we all should understand that this house is on fire. You might not feel it, you might not see it, but it is. How desperately we need Krishna. Just look around. Look around. Look around your life. Look in the news. Look at your politicians. Look at the way people act. Choices that we make. You'll see it's burning. We're in a burning building. And we're such illusion to think that we're not. And there are people blessed who only see the positive things. I love that. But I've already taken the pill. I can't unsee what I've seen. I can't live in that bubble. I'd freaking love to live in that bubble. And sometimes I get to visit. Of course I do. When I'm working my steps, when I'm close to Krishna, when I'm doing the things, drinking the things in my eyes that I should be, hearing the things in my ears that I should be doing, that I should be listening to, having the association that I should be having. When that's all in order and my mind is in the game, then it's good. The moment I step out, and I don't mean just physically, I mean mentally, because I've been in perfect situations in a horrible mental state of mind or in a low emotional state of mind. The moment I step out of the realm of good, I'm screwed. I'm in that burning building again. And I realize now, and this is the thing, people, I always used to think anybody who hasn't hit a bottom, a terrible, horrible bottom in life, cannot understand the dire need of having a higher power. And that statement is false. Some people are born with that intelligence, seeing this world for what exactly it is, and not lamenting. I'm not talking about, look at all the negative, look how shitty everything is. That's not what I'm saying. I'm not saying that. I'm saying taking that, knowing that, making the best out of what we have. The absolute best of what we have. And what's the best that I have? Krishna consciousness and a 12-step program. That's as good as it gets. It doesn't get better than that while I'm here. The building is burning and everyone's just fucking whistling in the dark. Excuse my language, please. I didn't mean to do that. I'm really trying to watch that too. And I'm just whistling in the dark. Oh, oh, there's no fire. Anything that I do, there's no fire. It's not that we have to look at the fire all the time. I'm not saying that. I'm not saying, look at the burning building all the time. We're always in an emergency state of mind. I don't want that either. But I want that to be knowledge. And knowledge doesn't have to mean that we embody that emotionally. That's where Krishna consciousness comes in. And that's where the steps come in. Full acceptance, life on life's terms. Accept our lot in life. Isn't that what Bhakti's all about? Isn't it? I mean, we can't be jnani yogis, meditate everything when we go to a cave. Not everyone has that nature. Not. I don't know anyone. I know maybe one person who would have the potential to do something like that. But most of us, I don't know. I can't. I need to use what I have in order to realize, and it needs to be purified, which means even my feelings I can offer. This is all for you, Krishna. Please let me use my dissatisfaction in your service. Please let me use my joy in your service, because it all comes from you anyway. And I'm just borrowing it. Actually, I'm not borrowing it. This is my karma. And all these functions on this machine, we're this part and partial inside this machine, moving through this material manifestation of a world. Really quite bizarre. So, yeah, that's where I'm at. And I've realized even deeper, I've always realized intellectually, yeah, surrender, that's the only way. Yes. But on a deeper level, what comes after surrender? Faith. Because if we surrender, what are we surrendering to? Okay, if we surrender to God, now what? I surrender to God, now what? Now you got the mind poking at you again, and your emotions poking at you again. We have to have faith. We have to have faith that Krishna will restore us to sanity. I've been listening to Prabhupada's lectures lately. Somebody, I don't know if it is that way, but somebody has been putting them on YouTube, and it sounds like the sounds are perfect. So maybe they've put them in AI so that I can understand Prabhupada, because of those lousy recordings back then. It was very difficult for me acoustically to understand him, plus the dialect. So I've been listening, and he was talking about Christians and the prayer of give us this day this daily bread. Now, I'm not going to take this out of context, because I didn't listen to everything, and I've heard this before. And he says, well, what is this? We show up, we don't beg to God. We show up in darshan so that God can see us, and not so that we can see God. Well, I'm not there yet. I beg Krishna to even be in the position, to even to be in that position, to think that way. So I'm still kind of grappling around that statement. But just like it is with all Prabhupada's lectures and everyone's lectures, we have to see it in context. And so I don't know what the whole context was. And I'm sure it was for a reason. And I understand that part as well. I do understand showing up for God so he can see me. It's kind of like, I guess it would be kind of like getting our acts together so that God can see us doing this service for him and everyone else, putting on your best suit, so to say. And it's a beautiful concept. And I'm going to put that. And I desperately need God. I desperately need to be laying at the lotus feet of Krishna. What I was saying before was that I always thought that people who had to hit some sort of material hideous bottoms in order to get to that mood. I haven't hit any hideous bottom in 30 years. But life as such, and my ability to deeply feel, to deeply see, to deeply reflect, has been something that it's been something that has let me see my true position here. I don't know, it's a really weird thing. I hear people who haven't done anything like that and have completely surrendered in one form or another. Yeah. Well, I'm back, my friends, and it was so nice. I feel like I've said everything I needed to say and shared everything that I'm hoping that someone will benefit from. And it's a reminder. It's really a reminder for us all. I don't have much longer in this life. I'm lucky I got 25 years left. It's not a long time. And I really want to think about what I'm going to do with this. How much am I willing to give? How much am I willing to keep for myself? It's like hoarding from Krishna, closing the door. A miser of my potential prasad. Miser. Like miserly. How much am I willing to give to Krishna? I want to give everything. Every single thing. I want to. Yet I don't. Why? It's really mundane, actually. Why? Got to figure out food. I've got to figure out shelter. I've got to figure out it's that. I've got to figure all of that out. I've got to figure out technology. I can't even figure out my own computer. For Pete's sakes. And all these things are distractions. Let alone all the emotional and mental discomforts that love to just run amok without my consent. That's why I don't give everything 100%. I feel like a stupid cat. You know, cats. They're not stupid, but, you know, you put a toy in front of a cat and it's just going to mess with that toy. And I feel like life is just messing with that toy. In a way. So let's ask ourselves, take a second right now, ask yourself, how do you want to, are you still being miserly? I certainly am. Are we being miserly with, and when I say prasad, I mean everything is up. Everything is up for offer. Mind, body, thoughts, emotions, actions. It's all prasad. As soon as we offer it, it's becoming prasad. Prasad is not just food. How many things am I willing to eat without offering? Think without offering. Do without offering. So think about that for a moment. Not for you to feel bad. For you to just get a reality check. It's for me to get a reality. I need these reality checks. If I don't have this reality check, I'm just going to keep getting distracted and play with that stupid ball like a cat. Anyway, I'm going to go home now and I'm going to read some Gita and I'm going to design I'm going to further design the retreat. Oh yeah, guys, so much has happened in that way. So give me a moment now. Let's shake this cock off a little bit and let's get down to some announcements. The first I'd said already, I'm interviewing people if anyone's interested and would like to tell their story of recovery. Whether you're in Bhakti or not, that's not the point. The point is God consciousness. So anyway, so please get in touch. Bhakti Recovery Podcast at gmail.com. That you can write us. Secondly, I'm going to be in the UK, my friends, in the United Kingdom, from the 17th till the 26th of April, this coming month. 17th to the 26th. If you would like to have my dates and where I'm going to be giving talks and workshops and introductions. You can go to our website, www.bhaktirecoverygroup.com. And I'm also launching, in collaboration with the Govardhan Eco Village, something called the Bhakti Discovery Group, which is a very interesting project. And it is absolutely, it's kind of like a 12-step program without naming it as recovery or the 12 steps. And every 12-step person will understand why that is. The Bhakti Discovery Group will be a platform where people struggle, just regular people who aren't addicts or don't identify as an addict or don't identify as an alcoholic or codependent. It's for people who just struggle with everyday material life and how we can sort of navigate through that. And of course, I use 12-step language is my language, so I use it without naming the steps. And it's really interesting. Anyway, so that's that. More information on the website. We meet monthly on Zoom. I will also be in the summer, end of July through the middle of August. I will be in Los Angeles. Also doing presentations and talks about the Bhakti Discovery Group and the Bhakti Recovery Group. So please check the website for those dates. They're not all settled yet, but more to come. That will be in August. And the end of August, the last weekend in August, I will be at Super Soul Farm holding a Bhakti Recovery deep dive retreat for a weekend. Please join. Please join us. And soon that will be put up on the website to book. And that's it. Those are all the announcements. I'm sure there's more. I just can't think of any. Okay, my good friends, I love you all. I wish you all an amazing surrendered day, evening or afternoon, depending on when you're listening to this and where. And I'll be steady again. Hare Krishna. Thanks for listening. I hope you liked the Monday Shorties. Don't forget to check out our full-length episodes on Thursdays. If you like what you heard, spread the word. Peace out.
सर्वधर्मान् परित्यज्य मामेकं शरणं व्रज.
The miseries of material existence and the most hopeless conditions of life is the best possible opportunity to turn to God.